Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the afternoon. Joining me, as always, it's Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor. What's going on today, Chuck?
You know, just working,
Just working.
living the dream.
I'm glad we never have like the cold opens or like the I think it was PTI used to do like in the commercial breaks they'd cut for a couple
And
of
they'd be
seconds
chatting.
and they'd be
Yeah.
chatting.
Yeah.
I'm glad that doesn't happen here. It would probably dramatically affect our contract negotiations. But here we are today. We are going to talk about who the next most criticized or overly criticized Flyer is going to be.
I think based on my Twitter mentions,
Yeah.
it's every single player.
Everything. Oh, I am gonna make the case for like most of the roster. Like, I don't know any of the like prospects well enough to be like, this is what we're gonna complain about.
Right.
But maybe like Jet Luchenko or something. But like I think we've got it narrowed down to like one or two guys, but we're gonna make the case to see who it's going to be. It is a long-standing tradition here. In Philadelphia, and especially with the Flyers.
Well, it's not just the Flyers. It's literally not just the Flyers.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I enjoyed last night's Phillies game so much, because I called it the FU Phillies Twitter game, because every single player that Phillies Twitter spends hours of every day screaming that they basically don't even deserve to live, all had great games. Kepler, Stott, Marsh, Walker, all of them. It was fantastic.
Is "Don't Deserve to Live," is that a Mighty Ducks reference?
No,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
just my general annoyance.
Yeah. So it's a great tradition. I especially because we've had guys. It's like they're good, but because they're not like the best at their position, we hate them for it.
Right.
And we're gonna get into that today. But before we do any of that, hit the like button. You came up real small yesterday in the like category. How does someone have a dislike already? Like, we have said absolutely nothing that you could possibly disagree with.
It's probably that annoying guy who's gotten banned like 4 times and
okay.
changed his name every other month.
He's gonna create a new account and hit the down button again. Yeah, hit the freaking like button. We need, as I say every day, 200 likes before the show ends live. And then you can continue to do it as the show, when you watch on demand and whatnot. But I need 200 to make myself feel good about myself. And we still have the DieHard deal going on, the training camp DieHard deal. $36 for the entire year. You get access to all of our premium content, our all-star roster of writers. You get all of their writing on the site, $36 a year, plus access to the Discord, discount on merchant events. So much fun stuff that comes with being a member of this community. Sign up now as an introductory offer, $36 for the year, and you get all of that fun stuff. I think that's it. Yeah, we did the Q&A this week, so that's no longer something I got to tell you about. All right, today's show.
Hey-o.
Before we get into some of the main topics of the day, I just read the transcript of Rick Tocchet's Nasty Knuckles appearance. I wanted to get into some of his answers on that, Charlie, because the big controversy, because was it even a controversy? It's just like,
it's August.
It's August.
It's not a controversy. It's just August.
July and August, we need things to talk about.
Right.
Matvei Michkov does that on ice video where he's like, I don't understand what the point of the dump and chase. And it's like, listen, he's making good points. It's just that, like, in the NHL, oftentimes there's going to be like 2 or 3 guys back. So sometimes you can't dipsy doodle around everybody and you need to dump it.
Which is true.
Yeah, and there's points here.
There's an element where it's like, if you can do it, it's fine.
Yeah.
If you can't do it, then you're going to get yelled at.
It was John Tortorella's whole coaching style. I want you cherry picking, and when it doesn't work, I'm going to bench you. Like, oh, all right. This probably makes a lot of sense to this kid.
Yeah.
Things are probably going great in the locker room.
Yeah.
Oh, he's fired. Imagine that. So on Matvei Michkov's dump and chase comments, this was another one of those I am really starting to come around on Rick Tocchet moments, because I was against, maybe not against the hire. I was just like,
you were very lukewarm.
I think there's other candidates who are like just as good that aren't former Flyers, and we're not going to be giving them Like and there's a whole thing in here. We'll listen to the thing on Nasty Knuckles. I'm not going to give away their whole show. But like, eh, maybe the connection isn't, the only reason we should be hiring a guy. But as we talked about, Rick Tocchet was a highly sought after candidate. And the more I have heard him speak, the more I am coming around on the hire.
Which is
Charlie.
exactly why he was a highly sought after candidate.
Yes.
It's because everyone who talks to him is convinced that he is a great coach. And you're seeing it because he comes off real well in these comments. Now, again, the question is, like, is he a guy who's a really good talker and not actually a really good coach? That is the big question. But it's completely understandable that, like, you read his comments, you're like, man, he seems really smart. I'm getting sold on him, because that's why he's so highly viewed in the first place by everyone in the game, because everyone in the game has heard these comments for years, at least his way of thinking, and is like, Rick Tocchet is a hockey genius. I want him coaching my team.
There was even like at our Q&A on Monday, and I think we've talked about this some, but like a question of, is this going to be a purely dump and chase style team?
And it's not.
Because Rick Tocchet has talked so much about getting in on the forecheck, establishing possession.
It's at least not going to be that to start.
Yeah, it's not going to be, that's not going to be their only style of play in freaking September and October. Like, I really don't see that happening. But we saw the video of Michkov being like, I don't even understand the point of dump and chase. And Rick Tocchet seems to maybe lean more that way than John Tortorella did while coaching this team the last couple of years.
Right.
And Toc was asked about it. And he said, I'm going to bust his chops when I see him. I know what he's saying. I mean, he wants to hold on to pucks. He's got that talent, and we've got to allow him to have that creativity. That right there, that's the only part of this answer I need. The rest of it, it's, listen, I know if you have the blue line, if you're going north, you're going in with speed, we can make plays. But otherwise, you're going to lose the puck. So maybe dump it in and try to get it back. Like, all that makes a ton of sense. But this right here was the answer of exactly what I needed to hear.
Okay.
We're not going to limit a player's creativity. We're just going to teach them the right thing to do and when. And that's the most sensible answer. It's the only good answer. Like, yeah, we are going to try to forecheck more because this team was a one and done team, and that's not how you win hockey games. But we have a guy over here, especially Matvei Michkov, who is awesome. And he's awesome with the puck on his stick. He's awesome on the rush. He's awesome making something out of nothing. We're not going to take that away. That's all I needed to hear. I needed to hear it from him saying we're not going to limit a player's creativity, and that's what he gave us.
Yeah.
And that's exciting.
He's very good at saying the right things in these kinds of interviews. And again, it goes back to what I was saying. There's a reason why people in the game like him so much, because number one, he knows how to be diplomatic, but number two, he seems smart. He seems like someone who gets it. You listen to his comments, you listen to his interviews, and Rick Tocchet seems like someone who gets the forward-thinking aspects of the game, but also is not just paying lip service to, but truly, sincerely believes in the old school aspects of the game that the people who, generally speaking, run hockey teams still believe matters, which is why he's so highly thought of around the league. And again, this shouldn't come as a shock, given the universal belief within hockey circles that Rick Tocchet is a great coach, that in some ways ran counter to the actual resume, which is more like, yeah, if you cut him slack for all of the places he's been to, then his resume looks great, but you have to be willing to cut him that slack. And the reason why people in the game are willing to cut him that slack is because this is the way he talks when he talks to them one-on-one. And now fans are getting a taste of why everyone in the game cut him as much slack for his just okay resume as they do.
No, and listen, and I am more willing. Maybe it's because it's July and now it's August, and like, what am I going to do? Criticize him for nothing that's happened? Like, there's absolutely nothing that has gone on.
Sure.
So what could I possibly complain about?
I don't know. You could find a way.
I'm sure I could. I just don't have that kind of time. I do. Like, the show's done at 1. I could sit in my house and like come up with things to argue to like Rick Tocchet about rhetorically, because it's not like he's in the room with me. But I am more willing to hear some of the, we'll call them excuses. Like, yeah, man, it's the Coyotes. You know who's had success there in 30 years? Nobody.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Yeah. You know what? That does make sense.
Yeah.
It's
Tippett was like okay for a while.
like it's
They made the playoffs.
It's Vancouver. They've never won the Stanley Cup. They don't have a practice facility.
Yeah, notably, they don't have a practice facility.
Like, you know what?
They're kind of dysfunctional.
Yeah, like they're a dysfunctional organization. They're basically the Flyers West. I am willing to hear these arguments out, and it makes a ton of sense. But when you do hear, like you said, you hear him just make the simplest. Oh yeah, like this is the statement that makes sense in this situation. You go, oh, well, it's not him. It's his bad organizations he's coached for. I'm willing to hear that argument more so than I was a couple of months ago when they made the hire and it was just like, he Flyer, you know? I don't exactly think it's that. There's a part of that. But maybe we always, like when we talk about the shrinking of the pool, perhaps this one time the right guy happened to already be in the pool.
It was clearly...
It's Adult Swim. There's only 9 people in the pool, and one of them was the right one.
It was clearly a, you know, when they're looking at the possible candidates, the fact that it's not even just that he's a former Flyer, although I'm sure that did give him a couple points bonus. It was more that they knew him. I think the familiarity.
Yeah.
And obviously they're more likely to be familiar with former Flyers because they're all former Flyers. But I think it was the familiarity more that gave him the boost, because they want to have this collaborative triumvirate of leadership, and Tortorella was very clearly the square peg round hole in the triumvirate of leadership because he wasn't one of the guys. Tocchet is very much one of the guys.
Yes. And it's not as if, like, Danny played with Tocchet with the Coyotes. Like, I don't know if they've run into each other anywhere since then, right? Like, I can't think of a place they would have been together.
I think it's more Jonesy.
No, yes. Jonesy, they played together here. They've known each other forever.
Yes.
They are more, I would say, contemporaries.
They were both in sports media together. Like they were that was the tight bond. And then Danny played, you know, was his teammate. And then obviously Tocchet is just, you know, and you get to know him. Like, he's a very, I hesitate to use the word friendly because that's probably not the best way. He's very outgoing. He's an outgoing guy in hockey circles who talks to everybody, who keeps up, you know, correspondences with a lot of people. And it wouldn't shock me if, like, we only played together 20 years ago, but I talk to Toc 3-4 times a year.
Yeah. Sends me Christmas cards.
We're still friends.
Yeah. And just very disarming in, like, when we sat down with him second day of the draft and he's just kind of like BSing with us, like, oh, like, I think they were trying to, and it was like, what? You know, I'm in the media. Like, you're telling me this just because, like, we're sitting here? And it's like, it was no, like, super inside information. It was just, like, him kind of BSing hockey with us. And it was, oh, this is a disarming character. But the other thing I really liked about this interview, Charlie, and then we can move on to other stuff. On the Michigan, he says, I want our players to be creative with the puck. Don't get rid of pucks, make plays under pressure, hold on to pucks. That's what Florida does. So we're going to train that way, you know? That's the creativity that I want. And listen, the Michigan, if that's the best way for you to score, go for it, right? If you're doing it for show, then I'm going to have a problem. But I want guys to have fun too. And this is like the Jeff Marek, when he talks about the Michigan, he's like, it's kind of boring. It's just a high wraparound. That's all it is. It's a wraparound, but the puck's in the air. Like, if maybe this is the best way to score, go for it. But he's not sitting there going, it's not a hockey play. You're not a hockey player if you do this. I hope my own players get hit in the face if they do it. like maybe perhaps the former coach may have thought. It's just these simple answers that are the only right answer. Like, especially when you now have 2 guys who making up, you know, like a third of your top 6.
Yeah.
Who are known for it.
Yeah.
Like, perhaps don't go, it's not a hockey play and I hate it.
Yeah.
He may. He very well may. But he's like, be creative. Don't just do it because it's fun, though. Do it because the goalie's leaving a little room up top and you have the puck behind the net. Sure.
There probably was a stretch in the beginning of the year where it seemed like Michkov was forcing it a bit.
Yes, absolutely.
Where it was more, and I like this aspect of Michkov. He's something of a showman.
Yes.
He knew the fans wanted to see a Michigan, so he was trying to do a Michigan. And that's probably the type that Tocchet will be like, all right, dude, if it's there, cool with it. But, like, let's not be trying one a game just because you want to get on Sportsnet.
Yes. No, and that's totally fair. That is exactly how a coach should coach, like 100%. So again, just giving what I feel is the only correct answer. And listen, it's August. What the hell else is he going to say?
Right.
What else are we going to talk about? But at least I'm not negatively predisposed. All right, one more thing before we get to the main topic today. Goalie talent tiers, Charlie. I saw this on TSN today. 5 tiers of goaltender talent, and
I think that's fair. I'm honestly surprised the Flyers aren't in a tier 6.
tier of their own. It's like a league of their own, but just the Flyers, a tier of their own. I like it's funny because, like, yeah, Pittsburgh, they've been sunk by goaltending. I feel like Buffalo at least has like the potential.
Yeah, they got some guys.
With UPL and with Devin Levi. Like, these guys might stink, but like they have at least shown.
I mean, you wanted UPL, so you clearly thought the UPL could have been an upgrade of what the Flyers had.
He had a bad year last year, but he was good leading up to that. And like Devin Levi has had success at every other level until now. Like, I don't know. I feel like maybe Buffalo's a little miscast, and yeah, like Columbus is. They've had goalie issues for years now. They think they find a guy, then he stinks, and like I get it. I wanted to read the description. Rick Tocchet has his work cut out for him here. The defensive-minded coach needs to figure out a way to insulate 2 unproven commodities in Dan Vladar and Sam Ersson, who combined have played just 215 career NHL games. And honestly, that's the best. That's the best argument against them, because I do think they've upgraded the goaltender position. I think they both have potential, but 215 games between the two of them, you have no idea what's going to happen. This could be a disaster, which you hope one shows promise, but this could be a disaster early. Okay,
yeah,
fair.
Yeah,
fair.
It's totally fair.
It could be.
It's totally fair. What I will say, and I mentioned this in our live Q&A on Monday night. What I'll say about Dan Vladar is, if you like Travis Yost, I believe this was Travis Yost who did this, right? This is his thing.
Yeah.
Like people like Travis Yost and people like Dom at The Athletic. I mean, these are people that I tend to align more with in terms of my evaluation of players. They are more going to pay attention to the numbers. And if you look at Dan Vladar's numbers, they're not that impressive. I said it on Monday. Dan Vladar has basically played 4 seasons in the NHL. 2 of those seasons, he was basically exactly league average in terms of like goals saved above expected, in terms of goals saved above average, if you're just looking at league average save percentages. And then he had 2 years where he's well below average. So on average, he is a below average NHL goalie, and he's in his late 20s. There's little reason by the numbers to be optimistic about Dan Vladar. However, if you speak with people in the game, particularly people who know the goalie position, they think higher of Dan Vladar's plausible upside. Now, they could be wrong.
Sure.
They might be like, yeah, well, I've seen him when he's at his best and he looks great. And like, yeah, well, he's not always at his best. And when he's not at his best, he gives up bad goals and team stinks. But it's fair to note that the goalie people think higher of him than the stat people do. There's a reason why Kim Dillaball apparently was like, get me that guy, I can do something with him. I'm not saying that he's going to turn him into an all-star, but there's a thought that Vladar, like you looked at what Vladar got in free agency, and you looked at guys like, oh, like Alex Lyon, he got way less. Like I put them around the same level, and I do. I put them around the same level.
Yeah.
Man, that was a dramatic overpay. If you talk to former goalies, if you talk to goalie coaches around the league, they would say, no, Vladar is on another level. He justifiably got more because there's more there with him than there is with guys who got $1 million a year less, $2 million a year less, even in some cases. Again, doesn't mean they're right, but I'm just telling you what the industry consensus of Vladar is, and that is much higher than the stat community consensus of Vladar's talent.
And I appreciate like Dan Vladar looking at this situation, and listen, a lot of it is like, oh, they're gonna pay me a ton, way more than some guys who, like you said, may be close. But he looks at this situation and goes, that's an open situation.
Yeah.
I can become the starter in Philadelphia. I can finally like plant my flag somewhere. He got a multi-year deal. He didn't just want to sign for 1 year, and I can give it my best shot to actually be the goalie I think I can be. I like that. I like that mentality here, but there is always the possibility that it's a disaster. And listen, it's been a disaster for the last year and a half in net. So
Yeah.
like they have to dig themselves out of this hole. I think the potential for this goalie group is higher than the one they've had for the last year and a half, but it rests on like Kim Dillaball being right.
Yeah.
And we don't know.
Yeah.
We have no idea if he's any good or not.
Yeah.
We've talked about it a ton. Like, oh, he deserves a look, and we're going to give him the tools he thinks he needs to succeed. But we don't know if this is a good goalie coach. We'll see.
It's true. And going back to what you said about Vladar, I agree with you. I respect his approach. Like, my understanding is Calgary would have been perfectly happy signing him back to be their backup.
Yeah.
That, you know, they liked the way he worked in the tandem with Dustin Wolf.
But Wolf is the guy.
But Wolf's the guy. And Vladar basically was like, I am not happy with spending the rest of my career as Dustin Wolf's second. I want to go somewhere to try to be the guy. I mean, also, like, I think Calgary is boring as hell. I guess it has Banff. So if you leave Calgary, that's fun. But if you stay in Calgary, it's boring. So I understand why he would want to leave, you know, sterile Texas. I get it.
Sterile Texas.
But point being is that
outstanding.
He could have stayed in a comfortable place where he was liked, where he had a role, where he could have been a 30 to 35 game a year goalie and been perfectly fine and made a nice living. Instead, he's pulling himself out of his comfort zone a little bit because he wants to show he can be the guy. And I respect that mentality. I do.
It's maybe, hey, who knows? Maybe it's shades of Sergei Bobrovsky going, you know what? I'm not going to be a backup my whole life.
I mean, that's pretty optimistic, but sure. It's August.
It's August. I got to talk about something, damn it. And right now, I'm going to talk to you about Empire Today. 1-800-588-2300 Empire. I think my singing might be getting worse.
Really?
I might be getting worse at this.
Really? I think it might be getting better.
All right. Listen, I have been telling you for months now, maybe over a year, that Empire Today is your only choice when it comes to new flooring. And it's for one simple reason. It's because Empire Today has flooring experts. They've got dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day, constantly making comparisons to the big box store experience. And it's because there is no comparison. Empire Today blows that experience away because of their flooring experts and because Empire can do something no big box store is willing to do. That's bring the showroom right to your home. That's right. Their flooring experts bring the showroom to you so you can pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space, in your space. See how it all looks with your furniture in your house. And they're with you every step of the way. They're doing all the work. They will take the precise measurements for you and have all your questions answered, so there are never any surprises, including on the pricing. Because with Empire Today, you get clear upfront and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day because nobody wants to wait around. You want your home project done so you can move on to other things. So schedule a free in-home estimate today, because some things are just better at home. And PHLY listeners, you can receive a $350 discount when using promo code PHLY. You heard that right. $350 off with discount code PHLY. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/PHLY for full details. While we're here, got to tell you about one of our newest partners. It's Do Dat Dental. Your smile, it says a whole lot about you. So let's introduce you to the team that helps you say exactly what you want with your smile. Meet the Do Dat Dental Group. This team of trust. This is the team trusted to care for one of our city's greatest assets, the Philadelphia Eagles. Now entering their 5th season as the official dentist of the Eagles, Dr. D and his team have proudly served Philly and its fans for over 20 years. They do it all, from robotic implant surgery and Invisalign to veneers, emergencies, and so much more. And they're locally owned and operated. Dr. D is a proud graduate of North Penn High and Temple University School of Dentistry. T for Temple U, baby. His commitment to the health and confidence of our community runs deep. So whether you're an MVP or just a lifelong fan like me, this is the team you want caring for your smile. Check them out at PhiladelphiaEaglesDentist.com and discover how you can smile like the birds. Love it. I love it. I like it. I like somebody who's like, yeah, man, take care of the Eagles. What else do you need to know? Oh, yeah, Jalen Hurts smiling. That's like the biggest story in the city for the last 12 months. So Guess who takes care of that? Our friends at Do That. All right. From your diehard mailbag, Charlie, I
was trying to think of a good, like, pretty privileged joke, but I just couldn't quite figure it out in fast enough. You want pretty privilege? Go to Do That.
Absolutely. All right. From your diehard mailbag is where I developed today's topic. And you got a question from Assassin2107. Which players do you feel were overly criticized by fans, particularly those who were unfairly targeted despite actually producing well for their role?
Yeah, my answer was easy. The answer was James Van Riemsdyk,
Yeah,
who objectively was a good hockey player for the Flyers for a very long time in 2 stints, and fans despised him.
Yes.
Absolutely despised him.
I mean, a GM that traded him despised him. The GM that drafted him, in fact. But no, it's there's always been some really good ones. Like I said, this is a long-standing tradition here to always, if a guy is good in his role, he's not great.
Yeah.
And if he's just a replacement level player, it's like, well, this guy stinks. It's, well, you know, like you need 20. I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's always been that guy. I always think of Braden Coburn as, you know, he was fine. He was a perfectly acceptable top 4 defenseman, and in the right role, he was on an awesome team. When he's playing over 20 minutes a night and the team's really good, I don't think that would be the case if he wasn't. It was just, well, he's tall and he doesn't hit anybody. Oh, all right. Well, you know.
And I don't know, did people, I feel like, I mean, Coburn and Carl both had their,
Carl
their detractors, to be sure, but were they hated? Those teams were good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody hated Coburn until Pronger was gone and Timonen was now either like dealing with blood clots and not playing or slowing down at least a bit. And then Coburn was the de facto number 1. But even then, I think he was generally respected. I think Carl was disliked more than Coburn.
Carl, absolutely. Just as, you know, we're always going to have an undersized defenseman who we don't like. Like,
he wasn't that small. He was like 6 foot.
We as the royal yes, but he's not a physical defenseman.
That's
Charlie.
true.
We know, like we had the conversation, like the difference between Tony DeAngelo and Shane Gostisbehere. They're both terrible in the defensive zone, but one is terrible in a way where when the whistle blows, he might punch you.
Yeah.
And Shane Gostisbehere gets boxed out in the corner.
Yeah, or shrinks away from a hit in the corner when he's trying to retrieve a puck.
And
the stuff that ticks off hockey men.
One of those is acceptable and one of those isn't.
Right.
And it's like, but he's going to like score more. Yeah, don't care. He gets pushed around, and the other guy, he just stinks, but he doesn't get pushed around.
Yeah.
So we accept one and not the other.
Yeah, it doesn't make my blood boil to watch him fail. It's annoying, but like the ways that Gostisbehere would make mistakes just infuriated people particularly people who like played the game at a high level.
Yes.
It infuriated.
Steve Mason, really, like when we get through, I'm going to go through like the roster basically and see who the best candidates are to be this guy for the next generation of an actually good Flyers team, because that's what has to be. It has to be an at least good team that you have like, but there's this one guy who bothers me.
Because right now, most of the fans, at least the online portion, I don't think this is the case for, you know, more of the like, not even casuals, but just people who don't spend hours of their life stewing on social media about the Philadelphia Flyers. Most of the fans dislike basically everybody on this team who's not named Matvei Michkov.
At least a large portion.
Of the online fan base is like somewhere between meh to I want this guy fired into the sun, with everyone on the team who's not named Matvei Michkov.
Like, the goalie is the easiest answer. Any goalie ever is going to be subject to this, because every time a goal goes in, you blame the goalie immediately. That's just what you do. Well, he's in there to stop the puck. He didn't stop the puck.
Yeah.
What the hell? Like Steve Mason, a great example. He was really good for this team for at least half of his tenure. And like, I'm not saying I'm immune to this. I'll probably never get over that half ice goal. Like, I'm sorry. I can't look at you. I don't accept that your numbers were objectively excellent for at least 2 years.
I refuse.
Because you let in one bad goal in a playoff series they never had a chance to win anyway.
But it was really memorable.
Yeah, it was memorable. All right, so with this in mind, the possibilities for the next overly despised, overly unfairly criticized Flyer to open, are Sanheim and Tippett eligible? because they're kind of already that guy.
Yeah, well, I think it just depends on whether either of them are still around for when the Flyers turn the corner. Sanheim strikes me as more likely to be around because he is already what he is,
Yeah.
and also he has the no movement clause, the no trade clause. So like they can't trade him unless they like basically go into his office and or like just go up to him and like, we want you to leave. We don't want you on this team anymore. And he has to be like okay with that. So I think Tippett is a little bit more, yeah, he's got the big contract that lasts forever, but I don't think it's a certainty he's going to be part of this when the team projects to turn the corner. There is a very real world where he gets traded because he doesn't fit with Tocchet or because he never steps up. But if we're talking about who is going to be the lightning rod for the fan base next year, it's almost certainly Owen Tippett.
Oh, I think most people, like you've said, like, I think a lot of people, at least respected Braden Coburn. I think, except for maybe the most critical part of the fan base, people have at least come to accept Travis Sanheim for what he is.
Yes, I agree with that.
Like, he is right now. It's either on Sportsnet or TSN where they have the projections. Like, he's in the top 6 for the Canadian Olympic team. Maybe you don't have to hit everybody to be a great defenseman.
I will say, and look, I'm not saying this removes all of the criticism, but it becomes a bit harder, especially like because the people who dislike Sanheim the most tend to be the like appeal to hockey tradition, appeal to traditional hockey way of playing. It becomes a lot harder to, with a straight face, contend that no, actually, Sanheim is a garbage hockey player, and how can you dare act like he's above average when Hockey Canada is like, no, he's really good and might play for us for the Olympics. Like, you can still do it. It's just harder because they're the authorities. That is the hockey authority that's like, no, he's actually good. You're wrong.
And it's not like this isn't like it's Belarus and it's like, well, there's one guy.
Exactly.
There's one guy in the NHL. We have to take him.
Right.
No, he's going to make it over like Evan Bouchard.
Yeah.
Like
you have to grudgingly acknowledge that like possibly I might be wrong in thinking that he's an AHL defenseman.
If Canada doesn't win the gold medal, it's a tremendous failure. And like everybody feels shame for 4 years.
Yeah.
They chose him in order to like, and
there's a very good chance they're going to choose him.
Yeah. Second pair. Yeah. Maybe we all need to take a step back.
Exactly.
But Owen Tippett, yeah, he's that guy this year. And listen, I gave him the season. I was like, you know what? He's a goal scorer and he just didn't have the puck luck this year. Down year. It is what it is. I expect him to become the guy I think he is or better following. Then I saw his exit interview and he's like, nah, I had a good year. And now I am going to be the main voice that's like, I don't know, Esser, get off the pot, kid. Like, you better be good or I am going to hate you. Hate him as a hockey player. He might be a good human. Who knows? But he is going to be a guy I am looking at as a potential source to criticize until he becomes what I think he can become. So I think right now, Owen Tippett is the guy.
And if he sticks around, he might remain that guy. Because even if he turns himself into a 30-goal-a-year player, like I don't think he's going to stop missing the net a lot. I don't think he's going to stop being streaky. His streaks will be better. Instead of scoring 3 straight games with a goal, he'll have 5 straight games with a goal. And then at the end of the year, you'll look at his numbers and he'll be a 30-25 guy. But he'll still have a lot of people who are infuriated with him. I mean, there were a lot of people that were constantly infuriated with Jeff Carter, and he scored 40-plus goals.
I was just going to say, Jeff Carter, once he reaches his 3rd year in the league, and once the team becomes really good, 07-08, 29 goals, then 46, then 33, then 36. Still ask a certain portion of Flyers fan base, Jeff Carter high and wide.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's a guy who scored 46 and in the 30s twice.
Yeah.
That's not what Owen Tippett's done to this point.
But even if he becomes that, he will still have a large contingent of people.
That way too much.
He absolutely will. I mean, for me, I think there are 3. I wouldn't say this is a hard fast rule, but I would say that it's as close to a hard fast rule as you're going to get. There are 3 things that, like 3 boxes you have to check to be most likely to be one of these guys. Number one, you have to be inconsistent or frustrating in some way in terms of how you play. Now that can be, for goal scorers, it can be inconsistency. And I'm not even talking about hockey. I'm talking about other sports too.
Yeah.
You can be bad at defense. You can have lapses where you just like zone out, or you don't run hard to first once in a while, or you don't give good quotes in the media and you make people think that you're not a Philly type guy in that way. Like, there has to be something that frustrates people. Number two is the way you play. If you don't play like the Philly tough, that was JVR's problem. He was a big guy who didn't play tough. Coburn was a big guy who didn't hit. If you are like, that was for a lot of people, for a lot of old school people, that was Mike Schmidt's problem. He didn't dive around in the dirt. He's the best third baseman of all time, but he didn't dive around in the dirt. So people complained about it.
He would dive, but he'd come up and somehow his jersey was clean.
Right.
So clearly he's not trying as hard as he could.
Right. So that's number two.
Yeah.
There's something about the way the guy plays that's not Philly-like. And then number three, and this is very big, the contract. Because people will be willing to accept, like, I don't love this guy, but he's on an entry-level deal, so who cares? And then the minute he gets $5+ million a year, then it's, I hate you because you're not living up to what you're getting paid. This is why Owen Tippett is such an easy one. Because he's inconsistent. He doesn't play as big as his size would imply he could, and now he has the big contract.
Speaking of contracts, I guess the next guy is going to be Konecny as a possibility.
Has the big contract.
Has the big contract.
Has been inconsistent. The one thing he has going for him is he does play a Philly way.
That plays the way we like.
Yes, he does.
But I can see it becoming, especially like if he is the highest paid player, like maybe they go out and get a free agent, maybe they don't. I don't know. But as of right now, he's the highest paid guy. Second half, and then maybe once they start making the playoffs to this point have not been Travis Konecny's friend.
That's fair.
We did this with Claude Giroux, who like just should go to the Hall of Fame. I don't know,
and who was objectively awesome in the playoffs the entire first half of his career.
Yes,
and everyone just forgot that.
Then the minute he, has a core injury against Washington, like, he's just not a playoff performer. I can see TK. I can see that becoming, like, when you talk about contract and performance in the playoffs, he could become that guy. I see him as a real candidate here. He's been around forever, and this whole time the team's been bad. Like, I see him as a real potential lightning rod.
Okay, I could see that. I do think the fact that he plays a gritty style will give him some cover, but if the production goes down, like if he starts being a 50-point-a-year guy rather than a 70, 80-point-a-year guy, there are going to be a lot of people, because the contract is so big, especially in hockey, even more so. Like, it's still a big deal in, in baseball. Like, one of the reasons why everybody grumbles about Taijuan Walker, it's not just because he hasn't been a really good pitcher for them. It's because
he gave him $20 million.
They gave him the big contract, and he hasn't performed up to it. But at least there's no salary cap. At least, like, it's not, and it is to a degree because they don't want to necessarily go over the luxury cap thresholds and whatnot. But it's not to the same degree it is in hockey.
No.
The contracts matter so much in hockey, especially for the diehard fans. Because the casuals, the people who are just like, I just want to watch a good hockey game, they're like, yeah, Travis Konecny's great. He's fun. My kids love him. If you are the kind of person who was going on Cap Friendly every day and now goes on Puckpedia every day, and you're staring at that cap hit, this bothers you. It really bothers you when a guy seems like he's getting paid more than what he's delivering on the ice.
Like, the salary cap in the NHL is so hard, and so like, it's such a stiff cap. Like, there's no going over. There's LTIR and stuff, but it's basically, this is it. This is the limit, and the cap hits are exactly what they say they are.
It's easy to understand.
It is. It is total divided by years. That's like, it's the easiest to understand cap in all of sports.
Like, compare that to the NFL, where, like, yes, there's a cap, but I feel like, especially now, Eagles fans are like, who cares? Howie will figure it out.
No, there isn't.
Yeah, it's like, whatever. Like, Bryce Huff is annoying because he got overpaid, but, like, whatever. Howie will just move some money around. It'll be fine. He does.
Yeah. I don't know. We gave Jalen Hurts $250 million. His cap hits like the size of a Happy Meal. I think we're fine. Like, I think it's probably okay. Like, in hockey, it's total, years, divide.
Yep.
Oh, that's it. oh, you're an $8.5 million player. You're not playing like it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, like we're bad, and I have to find reasons why we're bad. So it's let me pick out the guy who's the highest paid and say that's why we're bad.
That's Konecny's case, but I do think the way he plays and having some banked goodwill will at least keep him out of he's the guy we point at.
I agree with that, and I also think too, because you mentioned about the playoff things, and that's true. He has not been very good in the playoffs so far in his career. I watch him play, and I have to believe that like this isn't inherent to him.
Yeah.
He plays a style that makes you think he would be great in the playoffs. I think he just hasn't been. But I believe that if the Flyers start getting back to the playoffs, I think he will start performing better in the playoffs because he just seems like a playoff player.
He just like maybe even more so than Claude Giroux, because it's like, all right, you don't get as many power plays and you're up against the best defense and the best goalies. And it's like those teams were a one-line team, and it's real easy to line match against a one-line team. Like, okay, there's an explanation for this. With TK, it's like, I don't know, man. He like does all the stuff that like if he was wearing a Florida Panthers jersey, you'd be like, yeah,
like that.
Actually, he's the reason they do what they do.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Oh, he's on their second line, but he's actually one of their 3 best players.
Yeah.
Like, and it just hasn't been the case for him.
Yeah.
So I think now that he's a vet, maybe it will be a little kinder to him in the postseason.
Yeah, like I'm just not expecting him to continue to struggle in the playoffs if and when the Flyers get back to the playoffs.
All right. And with that, let's take our next commercial break. Speaking of the playoffs, maybe you want to get in on some future bets. Maybe you think this Flyers team can do it. Well, if that's the case, maybe you want to lay your action down at Bet365. That's where I do all my sports betting because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. I've told you so many times about the 90 million users worldwide, the nearly 800,000 live stream events each year, and the early payouts for the NBA and the NHL, how they've pioneered live in-game betting, the 78 different sports in which you can bet live. But let's talk a minute about the MLB early payout offer. That's right, because with the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes up by 5 runs. You get an instant payout on straight bets, and parlay selections are marked as winners. It's super cool. Your team goes up 5 in the first inning. You had them in a parlay. You bet them on the money line. No need to sweat the rest of the game. You already get that little green check, and you get to move on worrying about who is next to pay out or fail you. It's super easy, and I don't think any other sports book offers anything like this, where they pay you regardless of outcome, simply because, well, you were right away, and whether the game played out or not, doesn't matter. You already got paid. So check it out, because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And we have breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, whether your first bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in PA. If you or somebody who has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And now, another one of our new advertisers here that I'm very excited to tell you about, because I freaking love beef jerky. It's our friends over at Righteous Felon Jerky. If you're craving the perfect snack that satisfies your hunger and provides the right amount of protein to fulfill your body's daily needs, we've got the solution for you. It's Righteous Felon Beef Jerky and Meat Snacks. Righteous Felon traces its roots back to the hallways of Downingtown Middle School and was officially launched by lifelong friends in their apartment kitchen after college. The Exton, PA-based company has been making all-natural, premium quality, better-for-you meat snacks for over a decade and evolved into the region's preeminent jerky brand. The packaging is fun and engaging, and the flavors bold and tantalizing, the texture tender and soft. And these are, without question, the best meat snacks around. And listen, I know they're paying me to say it, but we've also got some samples, and they are damn good. What's more, Righteous Felon helps fuel your favorite Philly athletes by working with the nutritionists of each local pro sports team to provide jerky and sticks for players to eat before and after workouts and as a refueling snack during games. So if Righteous Felon jerky and sticks are good enough to keep Philly's pro athletes performing at the top of their game, it's got to be good enough for you, the average Joe Schmo, too. I take exception to that, Joe Schmo. I don't, pros versus Joes was a lot of fun. Anyway, Now, if you're the kind of person who wants a deal and snacks delivered to your doorstep, you can order online at righteousfelon.com using discount code PHLY20 for 20% off. They have all kinds of variety of packs and bundles on the site, so it's also the perfect gift for that special meat snack lover in your life. Again, that's discount code PHLY20 for 20% off your order on righteousfelon.com. It's a fun name, too.
It is a fun name.
You wouldn't guess what they're doing until you go to their website.
It's true.
All right. So that was Travis Konecny. I think the next very easy potential lightning rod for criticism, Jamie Drysdale.
Really?
Yeah.
See, okay. It's interesting you say that because I thought that the next most obvious one is Cam York.
Cam, they kind of fit into the same category, and now Cam York is signed long term.
He's got the money.
He's got the money, so maybe that.
Drysdale, it's entirely because of Cutter Gauthier. And with Drysdale, it is going to, the degree to which fans are hard on him is going to depend upon what Cutter Gauthier turns into. If Cutter Gauthier is a bust, or if he's just a mediocre, like, hey, he scores 20 goals a year, whatever, then it's like, okay, we'll deal with the fact that Jamie Drysdale is just a 30-point third pair defenseman. But if Gauthier is a star, then Drysdale is going to get hit hard by people unless Drysdale also becomes a borderline star.
That's Jamie Drysdale, I think, just fits into that Shane Gostisbehere category.
He does.
Like, he's not as small, but he's not a huge guy. I think he's 5'11", 185 is what he's listed at.
He's the smallest defenseman.
He's never going to be the guy who moves the body in front of the net.
Yep.
Like, that's not going to be him. And we know from experience that frustrates fans.
Yes.
Also,
he doesn't play the Philly style.
We saw it Shane Gostisbehere's rookie year. Phenomenal. One of the most exciting players we've had here in a long time. Second year, there's an underlying number case to be made that he was actually better. But the puck didn't go in the net nearly as much, so he got criticized.
And the coach scratched him a bunch.
Yeah, and of course, Dave Hackstall was a bad coach. So, we blamed Shane Gostisbehere for that.
Right. Some people did.
Some people did. It was just very much like, I just see his playing style. Like, yes, a lot of what Cam York does might be a little under the radar, but I don't think anyone can be like, he's bad defensively. Whereas
I've heard some people say that.
I don't know if he's as good
because he's not big. Because he's not big. There's the feeling that you've articulated this, where like, if you're a smallish defenseman, you have to score. If you're a big defenseman, then I can buy that you're good defensively. But if you're small, I don't buy that you're good defensively. Some people do not buy that Cam York is good defensively, even though by the numbers he very much is.
I don't know if I buy that he's as good as I'm told he is, but I've seen him defend the rush well. I've seen him block as many shots as freaking Nick Seeler. I've seen him do these things, so I know he's at least adequate defensively. Whereas Jamie Drysdale, it's like, I don't know, bro. If you're not putting up 40 points, what are you doing here? I very much see right now Drysdale is in that honeymoon phase because we love him.
And he doesn't have a big contract.
He doesn't have a big contract. Yeah. There's the Jamie's better thing. We found that a lot of fun. We've taken him in as our guy because Cutter didn't want to be here. When this team is competing for the playoffs, though, none of that matters.
Yeah.
How are you helping us win? Are you getting pushed around in the D zone? Then I hate you.
I guess my view with Drysdale is if he doesn't improve, if Jamie Drysdale doesn't take a step and he remains a, 20 to 30 point third pair defenseman who isn't that good on the power play, then I think he's just going to be gone. I just don't think he's going to be long for the team. They will eventually give up on him and be like, we don't want this guy. What value is he providing? I don't think they're going to just stick with him for the next 6 years as a number 5 who doesn't score and isn't big. Whereas I could see a world where if Drysdale becomes the lightning rod, it's going to be because, let's say this year, he kills it. Scores 50, 55 points on a top power play unit with Zegras and Michkov, gets a big money contract as a result, and then regresses a bit. Never gets better, maybe goes down to being about a 40, 45 point a year guy, and he's small, and he doesn't hit, and he has to be sheltered. Then I could see him being a lightning rod.
Okay.
But if he doesn't get any better than he is now, I just don't think he's going to be part of it long term.
That's fair.
The one thing that I think would hurt Drysdale if it plays out in the has a good year, gets the big contract, and then doesn't get any better, especially in the online world. It won't matter in the real world, but in the online world, it'll matter. there is a very loud contingent of online fans that get very annoyed that fans like a player because they think he's cute. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. The backlash to like the fangirls. And like I find the fangirls to be very endearing. I think it's fun. But there's a lot of people who then decide they hate a player because a lot of non-traditional hockey fans like the player.
I like to the end. I very much agree with what you're saying, and it just annoys me because like I remember Citizens Bank Park when it was empty, and I remember in college when it was full. And it was a lot more fun when it was full, and that was a large contingent.
It was.
And it made going to games a lot more fun. Like it just very much annoys me that is part of the and you're absolutely right about that.
And but again, this is limited to online.
Yes,
this is not actually something people care about in reality.
No,
but on social media, it's a thing, and that drives discourse.
Of course.
On both sides. People will be more willing to forgive Jamie Drysdale if you're on the one side, but then people will be more willing to pile on Jamie Drysdale if you're on the other side because the people who like him annoy them.
I will say, I do think it's funny that I was like, I don't know about York, and my description of York in the outline is everything I say about him already.
Yep.
All right, you might have a point. York might be one of the top contenders as we make our way through this list. I think there's a couple very obvious ones, but before we get to any of those, I just want to mention guys who I think could be under the radar candidates here. Noah Cates.
Really?
Yes.
I don't think so.
I think, again, right now, we really like him. But once he is like, oh, yeah, he's the 3C and he's 45% in the faceoffs and he's putting up 38 points a year, it's like, well, he's never cracked 40 points. Like now, Sean Couturier had he's a first-round pick. He was a top 10 pick thing going against him. Like we needed him to be at a certain level, and it was just, oh, if he's a 3C, what good is it? I can just see Noah Cates, like a couple little things kind of making him that Coots light during the Corsi Wars era of like, you don't understand how good he is. It's like, I know he put up 38 points. Like I can see that being part of the conversation with Noah Cates. Also the face-off thing.
Well, the face-off thing, sure. If he doesn't get better at face-offs, that will be a point of contention. I absolutely agree with that. I just look at it as number one, and you mentioned it, Couturier had he was a top 10 pick thing. Cates has found money.
He's a fifth
round pick. You're just happy. Number two, he plays with some grit. No, he's not going to be throwing big hits, but I think he plays with some grit. He plays with some physicality. He goes to the dirty areas. He battles. He's a likable guy. So I don't think he's going to get hated in that regard. The big one for me is the contract. He's getting paid $4 million a year for the next 4 years. And especially as the cap continues to go up, that's never going to look daunting. And even if he is a 35 point a year 3C, that's a decent price for a 35 point a year 3C, and it's only going to look more decent as the prices for everyone go up. So I just don't see a world where Cates is hated unless he regresses back to the guy he was 2 years ago when he was getting scratched and he was like scoring under 20 points. Then I could see it.
You know, when you bring up the contract, and I think in my head I was doing the dumb dollar for dollar thing, and it's... Yeah, that's when the cap was like half of what it's going to be.
Yeah, it's fair.
Like,
yeah, because
Sean
Couturier was around $4 million.
Couturier, I think, was at like 4.5, and it was like, actually, that's like he was making more than Wayne Simmons.
Yeah,
and it was like, well, this is ridiculous. But now it's like a $4 million player is a $7 million player in with today's money. All right, we only have a few minutes left, and there's a bunch of these. So the obvious answers. To me, there's two guys, and I'll start with Trevor Zegras.
Zegras is an obvious one. He falls into that Drysdale group, too, where he has the contingent of non-traditional fans that will annoy people on social media.
Doesn't play defense. Too flashy. Not a playoff
player.
Perimeter. Not a playoff style player. Can't win with a guy like that.
If he scores a ton of points and gets the big raise.
A Drysdale / JVR style criticism.
I could see it.
But
I could see it.
The obvious one. The one who it's going to be.
No one wants to hear it now.
No one wants to hear it now. The guy who it's going to be.
It's Matvei Michkov.
It's Matvei Michkov. Without a doubt, he is going to be the most overly criticized dude.
Yep.
And that's even if, like, we were talking before the show, like, well, what if he becomes Ovechkin? Now, it was more outside noise, but there was a large contingent of hockey people who were like, can't win with this guy.
Yep.
It's like, really? He just put in 65. Yeah, but he was minus 20. Like,
Yep.
oh, all right. Well, okay.
Yep.
I guess you can't win with him.
Guess not.
Until he finally
Can't win with the
won.
best goal scorer of all time.
Oh, best goal scorer ever. What else does he do? It's like, I don't know. You have 19 other roster spots to figure out. You have this one thing figured out. Maybe use your 19 other roster spots. But it's going to be Michkov without a doubt in my mind, and it's because we've already lived through it.
I do think that the fact that he does play with some grit, that he has the fire, that will help. But he's going to almost certainly get a massive contract. And unless the Flyers win a cup very early in his tenure,
Yes,
people will turn on him.
He's got to be 24,
I
25.
lived it with Claude Giroux. I lived it. I lived it with all these people. There were columnists in the city that made like an entire decade out of saying Claude Giroux wasn't actually that good. It will happen, especially because Michkov is a very offensively oriented player. The things that people say they love, like where like people are like, oh no, let him do whatever he wants. Let him cherry pick. And then the people who are like saying, you know, maybe you shouldn't do that get shouted down as if they're like evil. In 5 years, the first time Michkov goes through a playoff round where he scores 2 points and is a -7, oh my God. Oh my God.
Can't win with him.
So many people are going to turn on him. I'm not looking forward to it.
No.
Because I want everyone to love Michkov forever, but I'm fully expecting him to, unless they win a cup very early in his time, him to get the treatment that Giroux got, maybe even more so than Giroux, because Giroux at least like played center and like wasn't a dramatic defensive liability. Like I could see Michkov getting a lot of hate from corners of this fan base.
Giroux
really
at least had the like 08 to 12 playoffs.
Yes.
Where things went really well and they won rounds and like he scored a Stanley Cup final overtime goal. Like if Michkov doesn't have that kind of success or more once this team is good, he is absolutely going to be the lightning rod for criticism. Oh my, he's cherry picking. We're not playing any defense. He's not getting back. Like,
yeah.
If we had, and like, I think if we had Nikita Kucherov, people would say that stuff about him.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, he won an MVP. What did he do in the playoffs?
Probably.
Like, that would absolutely.
I mean, he has been really good in the playoffs.
No, I'm just saying,
Yes.
I see that happening.
Yeah, I could.
Like, very much.
I just have very little faith in the ability of large portions of Philadelphia fans to stay fair and rational about their star players.
Going to happen. And I am not saying I won't be behind it. I'm just telling you what I think is going to happen. This is not to criticize any fans, anyone who feels a certain way about anybody. This is just what's going to happen. We tend to blame our best players rather than the guys who are really at fault.
Yeah.
And Michkov, hopefully, is our best player. Like, if he's not, that's going to be a real problem.
Unless Porter Martone is really, really awesome.
Unless Martone is... That's the thing. Like, if
I could see a world where they get compared, where it's like Martone's the big physical guy, and then Michkov's the soft perimeter dude.
Michkov had 100 points and Martone had 60. But if you look at it, Martone's the one doing the work out there. Like, that is very much what is going to happen. All right. Let's hit those super chats. We seem to have a whole bunch from JH, at least to start.
He wanted to spend some money.
From JH, what's next? Is they're going to kick ass 329 days of ass. That's 329 days from now.
McDavid.
JH is expecting the Flyers to sign Connor McDavid.
Sure is.
And then at that point, McDavid, he's been to 2 Stanley Cup final.
They'll immediately start hating him.
He's lost them both, though. So can you win with a guy like McDavid?
Exactly.
Who's to say?
Exactly.
All right. Another one here from JH. Oh, we're going to overtime. Good call. We're like a minute and a half behind again on the clock. So I thought we had another minute. This clock is just, it's going to fall behind. There's something the matter with it. Another one here from JH. TikTok read the New York Times bestseller, How to Pander to a Rabid Fan Base and Influence People by Bryce Harper.
Number one, I don't think it's pandering because I don't think he's pandering.
This is just who he
I just think he's coming off as an intelligent coach. Number two, I have long said nothing wrong with pandering. Pandering's great.
Like, he's not doing anything, I think, Philadelphia specific. He's just kind of being the guy who interviews well and does all that stuff.
Yes.
Whereas Bryce Harper, it's like he's wearing Fanatic cleats on opening day. Yeah. I think there's a difference.
That was pandering, but as I've said, that's good.
But
it shows you care.
I do think like Harper specifically has grown from pandering too. Like, he's never been part of a sports community before. He's from Vegas where they had no teams. And then he played for the Nats, who were a joke. Like, this is actually the first time he's made a place his real home. and now it's just, like he got a Fanatic tattoo. That's permanent.
It started as a bit,
Yes.
and then it became real.
He worked himself. He worked himself into a shoot.
Right.
All right. This next one here. What's this? Balls Dynamite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zegras Zegras. Zegras is a legitimate candidate to be the person that people dislike
100%
irrationally.
We were talking before the show. If Zegras and Michkov, like if Zegras really reaches that level of like star and they're comparable, well, we already love Mish, so it's going to be Zegras who gets all the criticism.
That's possible.
Like
that is possible.
If they're the 1-2 punch, and we choose one over the other, we're going to choose.
Yeah, like
Mish.
that line struggles in the playoffs. It was all Zegras' fault because Michkov is Michkov. We can't yell at him, so blame it all on Zegras. Because if he had a better center, Michkov obviously would have scored all the points.
Exactly. All right. This one from David Shove. Toc feels like the logical step. Team wasn't ready for Sullivan nor top free agents. Better than an untested coach. Fits their decision-making group motto. Yeah, I think they expect him to be here a long time, though. But Sullivan, it's like, yeah, man, I'm ready to go win. That makes, I think, for Sullivan.
And also, they weren't getting Sullivan after they did his boy wrong in Torts.
Yeah,
it just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. This next one here from David. Like Danny Briere said, speed of rebuild is player dependent. Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is a coach that they think can coach up the young guys through this thing and then still be here when it's time to actually.
Hopefully they're right.
Yeah. From Corey says, everyone who didn't hit the like button, we just have to assume is a dirty Rangers, Devils, Isles, or Ducks fan. Don't be that guy or gal. That's when there's someone in the left lane on 55 going like 68 with PA tags. I'm like, Penguins fan. That's the only explanation. They're a Penguins fan.
Fair.
Trying to create traffic on purpose. All right. Another one from David. P.S. How good was that JJ show? Dude really put a lot of thought into answering super chats and clearly is just a great all-around dude. Cheers, my guy.
He's a great guy.
JJ rules.
Yeah,
I freaking
awesome.
love JJ. It was a good show. He's really cool. What's this?
Chase 14.
Chase 14.
I think it's just Chase with like an E elongated.
Yeah, that's not how you spell
it. Do you think TK plays in the bumper on Power Play 1 this year? I think it'll be better than Shen and Hartnell were there, especially with Mish and Zegras on the outside. Thanks for all you guys do. You're welcome, Chase. It's possible. There are a lot of places you can put these guys, though. I don't want to like say he's indefinitely in one spot because I don't know where Michkov and Zegras are going to be.
I hope there's just more movement. Like, yes, I want Mish like on his right half wall, but I just want more movement and optionality for everybody. I want some creativity out there. All right. Another one here from Corey. I think the Trey Turner standing ovation deserves to be mentioned in the context of today's topic.
It was notable because it was so different from the way Philly fans usually work.
I do think we have, ever since the first Super Bowl, softened overall as a fan base, but that only goes so far. Like the Phillies have given us multiple eras now of like really good fun baseball. The Eagles have won, but like Joel Embiid has won an MVP, and like I'm mad at the Sixers. I want them to move to Seattle. Like there is still a certain amount of the team that hasn't done anything in a long time is going to be a team that draws ire.
And also, I think it's worth noting that standing ovation for Trey came in 2023, which was coming right off of the heels of the surprise playoff run to the World Series. I don't think, and then maybe I'm wrong, but given my evaluation of the tenor of where Phillies fans in particular are at right now, I don't think they would have done the same thing this year had Trey Turner been a free agent acquisition last winter. I think they would have been a lot crueler to him because Phillies fans are just more angry right now than they were 2 years ago.
That's also a fair point. All right. Next one here from Casual Warzone Guy. Mason was great for this team. He dragged them to the playoffs in 16. He started 19 of the final 21 games because Neuvirth was hurt. Dude was tired.
Neuvirth was hurt. I'm shocked.
Yeah, Neuvirth got hurt every time. Neuvirth would have been like a top 10 goalie of all time if he could just freaking play.
He was really talented.
The dude was really good. He was just like, every 3 games he gets hurt.
Yep.
All right.
Matt Fred.
From Matt Fred. Hello from Ocean City. Charlie, when are you making the heel turn to Hockey Insider? I love that Charlie's not a Scoops guy. It makes me so happy.
Yeah, I hate that world. Can't.
It makes it so much easier.
If I ever went national, it would be more of as like an analyst. I would never want to be a scoops guy. I find that entire world unbelievably distasteful.
I'm glad you're not a scoops guy. This one from Mr. No Pants 305.
Sure.
Given that Zegras is important and he's good looking, should he be captain upon resigning?
I know
for
this
next
guy.
year?
Yeah.
Bring back Steph, but for
this guy is the guy who obsessively asks questions about the captaincy because he wants to annoy me.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I think he should be the captain. He's got a Z in his last name, which is very cool. And finally, one last one from JH. It started as a bit, but then he became real. Charlie O'Connor 2025. Glad I've turned you into a believer, Charlie.
I mean, our friend Will, the former Art of the Take, I don't think he's on Twitter anymore. He was the master of like starting a bit and then admitting to me 6 months later, he's like, I don't know where the bit ends and reality starts. Like I've lost touch with like the actual reality.
It's like Coy Detmer's beard and chest hair. Yeah. Sometimes they just combine. My favorite all-time Eagle. All right, and that is all the time we have for you. I don't know where some of this stuff comes from, honestly. That's all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers today. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and hit the like button. We're only at 170. Unacceptable. Hit the freaking like button. Get us to 200 before I am done saying all I got to say. Follow us right here on YouTube. Set the reminder bell so you never miss a live show. We'll be back tomorrow at noon in our regular time. Follow all the socials. We're at PHLY_Flyers on Twitter. And follow the podcast wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers. That's it for today. I am Bill Matz. That's Charlie O'Connor. Till tomorrow, be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.